Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Anime Advent, The King of No God. Chapter 61. It is a good thing for Long Tien that the masters join him. The more people, the more competition. Brother Long Tien. At this time, Naruto's voice came from outside the room. All the masters looked at Long Tien. Let's come here today. We will gather later when we have an office, Long Tien said. Yes, boss. Everyone left, and before they left, they glanced at the NPC Naruto. After the last large-scale mission, everyone was keenly aware that this NPC named Naruto was not easy. Everyone has heard that Long Tien made friends with Naruto from the very beginning when he entered the game, and Naruto was just a crane tail at that time, a crane tail that all ninja school students detested. Looking at it now, Long Tien's vision was surprisingly accurate. Seeing how good brothers Naruto and Long Tien looked like, everyone was naturally a little envious. NPCs are difficult to make friends with, especially this important NPC, it is even more difficult to approach. This is the only one for Long Tien, 23. Sometimes they themselves feel that there are too many conflicts of interests in the real world, which are not as pure as those in the game. If they also have an NPC friend, they can surely become bosom friends with peace of mind. Envious. After everyone left, Naruto began to complain to Long Tien that his teacher was unreliable. Ms. Kakashi is always distracted. And he doesn't answer us. Other people's teachers have treated guests to dinner, but our teacher who borrowed me didn't know where he went. Also, I seem to see him reading books, this guy is a big pervert. In Naruto's narration, the image of an extremely wretched and idle teacher appeared in Long Tien's mind. Ka Dian was actually described like this, haha, Long Tien really wanted to laugh. Long Tien smiled and said, "Anne, he's not as bad as you said, I've heard rumors about him." Naruto's heart of 8 trigrams was blazing, and his eyes lit up. What rumors? Tell me quickly, tell me quickly. Long Tien shook his head and smiled. Your teacher, I heard from an old man that he is very powerful, and he is also well known in the ninja world. He has a nickname called Konoha number 1 technician. Hey, what kind of eyes do you have? I don't mean that kind of messy technician. Long Tien knocked on the head of Naruto who was crooked with a chestnut. When Naruto created the lure technique, he read a lot of books in the yellow bookstore, so he is not a pure-hearted brother. Naruto covered his head and cried miserably, this is easy to make people think wrong. Long Tien. Of course, he also has a nickname called Copy Ninja, and he has learned thousands of ninjutsu. PFF, thousands, it's fake, Naruto exclaimed. He is only 3 or 4 kinds of ninjutsu now. Long Tien added, he also has a very powerful ninjutsu called Reikiri. It is rumored that during the Third Ninja World War that year, he cut off the lightning strike. Naruto was stunned and stammered, cutting off Lei. Is this still human? Long Tien shrugged. I don't know if it's true or not, anyway, I heard what the old man said. When I helped the villagers do some things before, the old man was more nagging, so I heard it. Naruto laughed loudly. You must have heard it wrong. This teacher is acting like a fool, and he reads little dirty books all day. How could he be so strong? Well, it must be so. Long Tien laughed. The old man's words can't be taken seriously, but you should respect him, after all, he is your teacher. Naruto shook his head. Tomorrow I have to accept his test, and I can only become his student if I pass it. Long Tien smiled mysteriously. I will give you a trick, and you will pass the exam. Naruto was overjoyed. What's the trick? Say it. Long Tien pointed to his own heart. As long as you follow the choice of your own heart, and don't be affected by tasks, standards, and responsibilities imposed on you by others, and you think you are right, then you are right, as long as do this, and you're successful. Naruto was confused. I can't understand what you are talking about at all, I don't think it has anything to do with tomorrow's test. Ref. Slacker student. Word comprehension skills are not enough. Go, there is still a test tomorrow, go to bed early. Long Tien chased away. Then I'm leaving, tomorrow the teacher said to go early, and you are not allowed to bring breakfast. Naruto waved and left. Long Tien is also not going to remind Naruto that the real purpose of Kakashi's test is partner, because Naruto must be able to do well. A partner. Long Tien looked up at the moon in the sky outside the window. Unfortunately, the only ones I can trust are NPCs. Long Tien thought of the muscle maniac. This person could win Guy's favor, maybe he would be a good partner in the future. Ah, do you want to see Katian pretend tomorrow? This idea looks good. The next day, Consolation Monument. Naruto, Sasuke, and little Sakura came here early in accordance with the new teacher Kakashi's expectation, because Kakashi said that there is no need to eat breakfast, so the three of them came here on an empty stomach. Results 800. An hour passed. 2 hours passed. 3 hours passed. The three children are about to cry, paralyzed, as if they were cheated by the teacher. At this time, the three of them dared not leave even if they wanted to. If the teacher came and found that he was not there, what would he do if he announced that the test was over and sent him back to school? How embarrassing. Goo goo. The three children clutched their hungry stomachs and sat on the ground with bitter faces. At this time, in the village, Long Tien was about to go to see Kakashi pretend at the memorial monument, but he saw Kakashi in Xiaohuang bookstore. I'm stupid, this guy hasn't gone yet. This is a great opportunity to meet Kakashi, not to be missed. Long Tien walked over and said respectfully, Teacher Kakashi, hello. Kakashi looked at Long Tien. You are Long Tien. My name is God Long Tien, and I am a friend of Naruto. God Long Tien. Kakashi's mind suddenly flashed the information of Long Tien God, the first person of Inhuman, friend of Naruto and Iruka, just promoted to Genin, performed well, assisted in catching Mizuki. Master Hokage thought after inspection that he could help Konoha manage Inhuman. Hello. Kakashi smiled. If it's an ordinary alien, he doesn't bother to bother, but the alien Long Tien is different. Since third Hokage trusts him, his character should pass the test, and he is also a friend of Naruto and Iruka. Mr. Kakashi, when I used to help the elderly with housework, the teacher heard about your glorious deeds. You are my idol. Long Tien took out a notebook and a gun from nowhere. Pen, handed to Kakashi, please sign. The adoring gaze of Long Tien made Kakashi a little uncomfortable, but the sense of satisfaction of vanity still made Kakashi a little excited. Kakashi swiped, sign your own name. Long Tien's collection of, like a treasure, is beyond words. It has to be said that Long Tien's move made Kakashi's favorability gradually increase. By the way, Mr. Kakashi, Naruto seems to have left the house this morning, saying that you are going to test the three of them. Have you finished the test? Long Tien asked curiously with a cute face. Kakashi cough. It's a bit embarrassing. If it wasn't for wearing a face scarf, Long Tien would probably be able to see that red face. I was blocked by a black cat just now, so it's a bit late. Hey, that's how it is to be too kind. Kakashi felt that he had to maintain his image when facing his fans, so I made up an excuse. Long Tien looked at Kakashi with, you are so naughty. Ahem, I'm going to test my students, goodbye. Kakashi quickly left the yellow book shop. Hey, don't go. Together, I also want to see how you test Naruto and the others, I promise not to interfere. Long Tien chased after them. Soon the two came to the Comfort Monument. Good morning everyone. Kakashi laughed. Naruto jumped up. Mr. Kakashi, why are you so late? Pipe! Quote. Kakashi defended. Oh, I just met a fan. Hey, it's the god of Long Tien. He always drags me into a store of books, to read some little yellow people, that kind of books that are very blind, HMPH, he actually insulted my pure sentiment. Long Tien. Almost a mouthful of old blood spewed out. Nima, if you are lazy, just be lazy, and you still want me as a target. Naruto, Sasuke, and little Sakura also have black lines on their faces. Don't think that I don't know that you are holding a little book every day, and you are still pure. Humph. Kakashi laughed, not caring about everyone's scorn, took out 2 lunch boxes and 2 bells, and announced the rules of the test. Long Tien sat in front of the memorial monument. Naturally he didn't say a word. I don't do anything, just quietly watch you pretend. Naruto, Sasuke, little Sakura vs. Kakashi. The battle started quickly. At this time, Long Tien secretly put through his glasses. Sharingan, Carpenter, Shanguyu directly appeared in Long Tien's eyes. Next, copy Kakashi's ninjutsu and see if there will be any surprises. Everything you look at pretend is fake, but copying ninjutsu is real. In the field, 4 people are fighting fiercely. Profound truth. 1,000 years of death. Kakashi emerges from the ground, with firm fingers, aiming at Naruto's asshole. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Ah! Naruto uttered a scream, which made the listeners cry, and the hearers couldn't help being sad. Sasuke, little Sakura, and Long Tien all entered the Pigu. 1,000 years of death. After being hit by this technique, people will experience the pain of death like 1,000 years. At this time, Long Tien heard the system's prompt at the same time. Ding! Copy failed. This 1,000 years of death as a physical technique, not in the range of ninjutsu copy. The master-student battle between the four was still going on, and soon Sasuke caught an opportunity, aiming at Kakashi with a seal. Great Fireball Technique. Ding! Cast Sharingan. Watch Sasuke cast Great Fireball Technique, gain some Great Fireball Technique experience, upgrade, skill level +1, LV1. Long Tien was overjoyed, it was really possible. Long Tien laughed wildly in his heart, laughing wildly. Ha ha ha, if I can do this, then I can keep watching other people's battles, and then improve my skill level. I don't need any experience letters at all. This is a faster way to improve the skill level than the experience letter, because the experience letter needs a lot of contribution points to exchange. Afterwards, the battle between the four masters and apprentices simply became a place for Long Tien to gain experience. Ding! Cast Sharingan. Observe Sasuke cast Fire Style Great Fireball Technique, get some Great Fireball Technique experience, upgrade, skill level +1, LV2. Ding! Cast Sharingan. Observe Kakashi Body Replacement Technique, gain some Body Replacement Technique experience, upgrade, skill level +3, LV103. Ding! Cast Sharingan. Observe Sasuke Body Replacement Technique, gain some Body Replacement Technique experience, upgrade, skill level +1, LV104. Ding! Cast Sharingan. Observe Little Sakura Body Replacement Technique, gain some Body Replacement Technique experience, upgrade, skill level +1, LV105. Ding! Cast Sharingan. Watch Kakashi perform Earth Style Hard Beheading Technique, gain Earth Style Hard Beheading Modajao Technique experience, skill level +5, LV5. Quote. Long Tien noticed that the ninjutsu performed by Kakashi provided more experience and improved levels, either adding 3 levels or adding 5 levels. However, Sasuke and small Sakura provide less experience, and can only add 1 level. Suddenly, Long Tien's eyes bulged. Price. Ding! Cast Sharingan. Watch Naruto cast Multiple Shadow Clone, learn the skill Multiple Shadow Clone, gain some experience, lack of experience, can't improve the skill level, LVO. Multiple Shadow Clone. I actually learned it. Sloppy. Long Tien was about to be pleasantly surprised. At this time, Long Tien had an idea in his heart. We must let Naruto in front of me more Multiple Shadow Clone. Kakashi quickly caught the 3 of them, and then tried to break up the trio with a lot of intimidation and deception. In the end, Naruto, Sasuke, and little Sakura chose partners, ignoring Kakashi's "I can't give Naruto food, eat" requirements. Congratulations, you all passed. Kakashi gave the 3 thumbs up. Really? Aren't there only 2 people who can qualify? Yeah, great. The 3 wept with joy. Oh Futian. Kakashi looked at his 3 students and was very satisfied. The 3 of them are much better than the previous students who just competed and had no spirit of companionship. Kakashi couldn't help but think of his father's failure in the mission because of his partner, and finally died amidst numerous accusations. At the same time, I also remembered Mr. Namikaze Minato of 4th generation took him, Obito, and Lin to do this test, but at that time, 4th generation mistakenly regarded Kakashi's utilization partner as a unity partner, which resulted in the tragedy of Obito's death. At this point Kakashi has always been full of regret in his heart. So in the past few years, whenever ninja school asked him to take students, he would use this test. But the result of the test made him very discouraged. No student realized that team members are more important than rules. And today, Kakashi finally met. The eye sockets can't help but get a little moist. Kakashi looked at Naruto, Sasuke, and little Sakura, and said solemnly, "On the first day you become real ninjas today, I have a message for you." Naruto, Sasuke, and little Sakura looked at Kakashi together. Kakashi took a deep breath and said, Although, in the world of ninjas, we call those who break the rules and iron laws of ninjas trash, but people who don't cherish their companions are more poor trash. Naruto, Sasuke, and little Sakura listened, and felt a surge of heat in their hearts. Long Tien watched from the side, and sighed. The three of Naruto don't know Kakashi's experience, so they probably can't feel the pain in Kakashi's heart. It can be said that Obito's blackening is because of the kind of hatred and sadness that he bears, but Kakashi the burden is actually more and heavier. There are too many sacrifices and tragedies of Hokage, but it is precisely because of this that countless Hokage fans can appreciate the burning light of that kind of friendship even more. At this time, Long Tien had an idea. Let everyone in the police force be divided into groups of 3 to perform missions together. Those who pay more attention to their partners during missions will get more rewards from Lonkai. This brain hole. Hey, it seems to be okay. Anyway, I have the final say on the alien police force. Long Tien laughed, feeling better. Then there was a dinner party. All the Shaoqiang who successfully graduated and became genin followed their teachers and came to a restaurant for dinner. Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji, Yamanaka Ino, Aburame Shino, Inazuka Iba, Hyuga Hanada. Asuma and Hong looked at Kakashi in amazement. It's really strange, I didn't expect you to accept students. This time my 3 students are very good. Naturally, Long Tien would not miss this opportunity to meet Asuma and Hong, so he also came to dinner with Kakashi class. Greetings from Long Tien. Hello, Teacher Asuma. Hello, Teacher Hong. My name is God Long Tien, and I'm a classmate of Naruto's class. Hong looked at Long Tien with a smile. You are the god of Long Tien. I've heard it before. Asuma nodded. Sit down and eat together. Sometimes the relationship network is established in this way. Friends of friends will have more trust than strangers. Then by coincidence, Guy brought his students, Hyuga Neji, Rock Lee, and also came every day, C-Day. Guy, what a coincidence, let's have dinner together. Haha, together. Wow, Kakashi, these 3 are your students. How weak. Naruto Sasuke Jong. Xiao Li kept winking at Xiao Sakura. This classmate, my name is Xiao Li, I like you. Then raised those thick eyebrows. Small Sakura Yan Men hash word, who is this guy? This eyebrow is so ugly, this green dress is so ugly. Hanada called Neji big brother to Neji, but Neji ignored it coldly. In this way, the 12 Shaoqiangs got together, which is much more complicated than the original plot of the meeting at the beginning of the Chunin exam. Long Tien also formally met Guy, Hyuga Neji, Rock Lee, and Tien at this time. Guy showed his big shiny teeth to Long Tien. You are that alien Long Tien god. The muscular maniac mentioned you from time to time. How about it? Do you want to join our youth? Walk around the inverted leaf. Long Tien's face was blackened immediately. Stand upside down on the leaves in a circle. I don't want to die. At this time, in the box next door, more than a dozen players were eating. Hey, have you seen that god Long Tien? It's next door, eating with a large group of NPCs. I just listened to their speech, it seems to be a group of graduates. Graduates are counting. When they grow up, we have already reached the full level. When the time comes to hang them, we can do whatever we want. Why do you say that this Long Tien god is so stubborn, and he can play so well with NPCs and know him so well? When we pass by, the only thing that will cover your face is a pile of icebergs, so you should stay away. Maybe someone will flatter. I don't like to hear these words, and you will be sour. We have to recognize the facts. In fact, I still admire this Long Tien god, and I am also planning to join him. It is best to be an officer in this alien police force. Cut. Just kneel and lick the NPC. You, when will it be our turn to take care of the NPC? When will our players become stronger, overthrow their NPC, and occupy this world? Yes, this makes sense. Several players were talking, but they didn't notice that the NPC waiter who was serving them food looked at them with disgust. If there is a system prompt, it is estimated that there will be a series of favorite XXX and prestige XXX prompts. But now the hints of favorability and reputation are cancelled, so they talk like a bunch of idiots, and then eat the delicious meal that was spit on by the NPC. 2 days passed in a flash, and the big foodie submitted the structure and system of the alien police department made by professionals in the real world to Long Tien. However, After Long Tien read it, he was not very satisfied and put it on hold for the time being. And in these 2 days, the number of players in Konoha's core area began to increase, and they all appeared near Long Tien's house intentionally or unintentionally. Long Tien knew in his heart that these people should be personnel arranged by the major forces in the real world, but Long Tien went his own way and still did things in his own way. In order to quickly improve his experience, Long Tien specially participated in the daily training of the 12 Little Strongs. Guy, Hong, and Asuma were not very happy at first, but they were soon tactful by Long Tien. Under the offensive of gifts, still agree yet. It is also because of this that Long Tien began to improve the level of some of his skills by stealing the teacher copy, especially the body replacement technique which was used during training. The most used ninjutsu. In 2 days, it has been upgraded by 20 levels, reaching LV 125. And at night, in the name of strengthening training, Long Tien asked Naruto to continuously use multiple shadow clone, allowing Long Tien to successfully learn multiple shadow clone, and his level was raised to LV 10. Long Tien found that it is more difficult to upgrade the multiple shadow clone than other ninjutsu, because every time Naruto casts 20 times, Long Tien will only upgrade by 1 level. When reaching LV 9, Naruto has been casted 50 times, and Long Tien will upgrade the level to LV 10. In the middle of the night, Long Tien was in his own house, trying to cast multiple shadow clone. Sealed. Multiple shadow clone. Bang bang bang. Immediately, Long Tien felt his entire body being emptied. Not good. Eyes turned black. Directly fainted in the past. When he woke up, it was already dawn. Hiss hiss. As soon as Long Tien moved his whole body felt a tearing pain, his whole body felt like being pricked by needles. The result of trying multiple shadow clone techniques this time made Long Tien realize that with his current chakra power, he couldn't use this kind of ninjutsu at all. No wonder no one among the Hokage ninjas would use it except Naruto, the humanoid Nine Tails. It is estimated that Senju Tobarama sealed this forbidden technique for this reason. After recuperating for a day, Long Tien went out. As soon as he went out, Long Tien felt that many eyes were cast on him from the outside. HMPH, in a few days, I will clean you up. Long Tien snorted coldly, ignored them, turned around and went to the prison. According to the agreement with King Wudi, today is the date to get the list of players from all major forces. Prison Island, all the way unimpeded. Soon, King Invincible was brought in front of Long Tien. Compared with the haggard appearance and lack of energy he saw last time, King Invincible, although his appearance is still so sloppy, his eyes have become more energetic. Phew. Here's the list. King Invincible handed a stack of papers in front of Long Tien, on which were densely packed names written by King Invincible's hand, several sheets of paper, and hundreds of players' names. BIJ. Top 10 bases in Asia, America and Europe. Top 10 consortiums and groups in the Federation. Top 10 aristocratic families in Washa District. King Invincible said, "This list, according to your request, is all the more important players and leaders of the major forces, but it is only 1/3 of the entire list. As long as I am released from prison, I will give the remaining 3 points to you. The second is for you." Long Tien nodded. "No problem, happy cooperation." King Invincible smiles. "Happy cooperation." Long Tien said, "You wait here for another hour, I will go to Master Hokage." King Invincible, "I hope you don't play tricks, otherwise you won't get the remaining 2/3, and, of the 1/3, you can check the first half with confidence, but the second half of the list is what I use. Certain codes are mistyped. Without my codes, you can only get a bunch of wrong lists." Long Tien laughed. "Don't worry, I'm very reputable." After Long Tien finished speaking, he took the list and left with a very obvious joy and excitement on his face. King Invincible saw Long Tien like this, and immediately sneered in his heart, "This god Long Tien is so naive, did he think that I would really give you the information so simply? Now I can be sure, this god Long Tien must not be a big otherwise, the talents cultivated by the forces would not be like this. There is no city at all." After Long Tien left the prison, he went back to the house, took the documents he had written in the past 2 days about the organizational structure and system of the alien police force and went to find Uruka together. "Uruka, your movements are really slow, Master Hokage has been waiting for a few days." Long Tien laughed. there is no way. In order not to make the other party suspicious, I can only do this. By the way, is Morinoi Hibiki ready? Uruka. No problem on his side. Then Uruka frowned. Recently, more and more aliens have been watching your house, and even my side has many people watching, and there are 3 waves of people looking for me, saying they want to discuss cooperation with me. Instead of you, let them control this alien police force. Hehe, to be honest, I hate this kind of people the most. They are full of interests, they will never understand the spirit of Konoha. Long Tien chuckled. They are just a group of politicians. What is their spirit? Is it edible? Benefits or what they care about? In our world, there is a saying that goes like this: once there is a proper profit, it will. If there is 50% profit, it will take risks. For 100% profit, it will dare to trample on all human laws. If there is 300% profit, it will dare to commit any crime, and even risk the death penalty. Uruka froze for a moment when he heard it, and then laughed. Let's go and meet Hokage-sama. I have admired him for a long time, and I can finally see him today. He's a great guy. Yeah, great too. Long Tien added a sentence in his mind. An old man who can die for the village, an old man who dedicates his life to the village, can he not be great? Hokage House. Standing outside, Long Tien looked up at the building. This is where Hokage has been working for generations, from 1st generation to 5th generation, 6th generation, 7th generation. This is also where the funeral of the Hokage 3rd generation was held. Standing here, Long Tien didn't know why, and felt a lot of emotion for a while. Uruka was surprised. What's wrong? Long Tien smiled slightly. It's nothing. Soon Long Tien was brought to Hokage's office by Uruka. Tuk tuk. Knock on the door. Come in. There was a vicissitudes of life but a majestic voice from inside, which made people feel that the people inside would be like a chime stone, guarding here forever. 10,000 years will never stop. Long Tien followed Uruka in. Uruka. Fire Shadow Sama, brought by the alien Long Tien. Long Tien bowed down and bowed down. Foreigner Long Tien God, please refer to Lord Hokage 3rd generation. This bow is for my own Hokage feelings back then. Whenever I saw the part where 3rd generation died for Konoha, I always admired and felt sad in my heart. 3rd generation looked at Long Tien. His eyes were still piercing, making it difficult for all villains to hide. He looked at Long Tien for a few seconds, observing Long Tien's expression, eyes, tone. Long Tien's attitude surprised him. He saw incomparable respect and love from Long Tien's eyes, which made him very surprised. This should be the first time he saw himself. Why would he respect me? However, 3rd generation soon thought of some information about God Long Tien, who used to help the villagers run missions. Perhaps the villagers heard about me. Thinking of this, 3rd generation couldn't help but feel a good impression of Long Tien, and felt very comfortable in his heart, feeling like a junior. Long Tien also didn't know his feelings, which allowed him to gain a lot of favorability from 3rd generation, which was a mistake. 3rd generation's attitude suddenly became kind. Come on, let's talk about the list first. That's right, the list. Not the alien police force. The exchange relationship between Long Tien and Konoha is not as simple as that of the alien police force. A few days ago, when 3rd Hokage exchanged and collected information belonging to the Earth Federation from a large number of players, 3rd Hokage realized a problem. How could Konoha's power not be controlled by the Federation in the face of such a huge number of aliens? Control. The first is the strict control of advanced body arts, ninjutsu, illusion, and other arts to reduce the number of masters of different people. Prepare for this from the start. Secondly, it is also necessary to fight against the big forces among the aliens, that is, those big forces in the Earth Federation of the Otherworld. Because these big forces are completely different from Konoha in terms of concepts, and even conflict. If the major forces on the Earth influence aliens, and then gather the power of aliens to compete for the power of Konoha, it will be a great deal for Konoha. Devastating catastrophe. Therefore, 3rd Hokage needs a different person to be Konoha's spokesperson to fight against the big forces of the Federation. At this time, Long Tien, who doesn't belong to the big powers of the Federation, but only belongs to the humble family of the Earth, who has a natural conflict with those big powers, becomes the best candidate. And Long Tien doesn't want the world of Hokage to be controlled by those big forces on the Earth, and then become a second Earth where everything is talked about money, but wants to maintain the passion, companionship, and fetters of Hokage ninja, and then wants to get big by himself benefit. The two hit it off. Win-win. At this time, the weight of the alien police force is a little lighter, and it becomes a little more important to cooperate with Long Tien to contain the great forces of the Earth. How can we stop the invasion of the great forces on the Earth? The best way is naturally to get the list of players belonging to this big force, monitor them all, find various reasons, deal with them, and repeatedly hang them at 1080 degrees to prevent them from developing. The power is still talking about controlling the Hokage world. After all, the Earth Federation, and even many players, just regard this as a game, not another world, and don't pay enough attention to it, instead of leaning towards Konoha from the beginning like Long Tien. This is the list of aliens from the great powers obtained from King Invincible. Long Tien handed the list to third generation. The aliens on the list are the more important high-level members of these forces. Through them, we can use Morino Ibiki's ninjutsu, one other lists. Come on, third generation shouted. An Anbu swiped and appeared in the Hokage office. Third generation copied the names of the 3 aliens from the list, and handed them to Anbu. Find these 3 people immediately, catch them, remember to knock them out before arresting them, and don't let everyone, even the aliens themselves, know that they are being arrested. Yes, Lord Hokage. Anbu took the list, swiped it and disappeared. After getting the first thing done, third generation's mood improved a lot. Okay, now let's talk about the Inhuman Police Force. An hour later, the construction plan of Inhuman Police Force was basically explained to third generation, and the consent of third generation was successfully obtained. The document is stamped with the Hokage seal and becomes official. It will be officially listed and established tomorrow. Tuk tuk duck. Knocking on the door, Morino Ibiki appeared, and behind him, 3 Anbu were carrying 3 alien players. Anbu. Master Hokage, these 3 people are the 3 aliens on the list. Third generation nodded, and said to Morino Ibiki, you use your ninjutsu. Morino Ibiki nodded, and directly performed ninjutsu on the spot. Wearing sunglasses, Long Tien silently opened Sharingan. Another hour later, Long Tien came out from the Hokage building with a smile on his face. This time I met with third generation and it was very successful. First, by establishing an in-depth cooperative relationship, you can naturally benefit a lot. Second, I secretly used Sharingan to learn a very important ninjutsu, memory reading. Memory reading, C-level ninjutsu, LV3, can enter people's minds and read personal memories. Note, the mental power of the other party cannot exceed the person himself, otherwise he will suffer backlash. For Long Tien, the importance of memory reading ninjutsu is no less important than cooperating with Konoha. At this moment, Long Tien noticed a lot of gazes gathered on him again, some of them left at the touch of a touch, and some looked at him for a few seconds before leaving. Since Long Tien was promoted to genin, his 5 senses have become more and more acute. This kind of naked spying is as obvious as a searchlight in Long Tien's eyes. Long Tien looked around and saw many aliens dressed as NPCs, some lowered their heads, some used things to cover them, and some turned around in a panic. HMPH, it seems they can't sit still. Long Tien went back to the house and closed the door. Offline, those monitoring people, after watching for a while, quickly went offline to pass on the news. Long Tien entered the Hokage building in awe, for a total of 2 hours. He came out with a smile on his face. After returning to his room, he went offline. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Back to reality. Brother landlord, you are coming out, come and eat quickly. Tien deftly washed a pair of dishes from the kitchen and put them on the host seat that Long Tien usually made. The table is still full of dishes, such as fish-flavored eggplant, mapo tofu, stir-fried vegetables, steamed fish, pork belly chicken, salted duck in sauce, lotus root soup. A very filling meal. Long Tien suddenly felt like home. Looking at Xiaojiabyu's Tiantian, she suddenly had an idea and impulse. If she were her own wife, Tiantian would wash and cook for herself, take care of herself, and be kind and loving. It must be an extremely beautiful thing. I don't know why, I was disturbed in the game, and when I returned to reality, I suddenly became quiet. Brother landlord, eat quickly. This is the first time I have made salted duck, try it. Tiantian served Long Tien a bowl of rice, and then took a piece. Put salted duck in sauce to Long Tien's turn. I'm going to brush my teeth first. Long Tien felt a little embarrassed by the thought just now, and hurried away. Jingwen, Miaoyu, and Yu Qing stared at Tian. Tian looked dazed, a little cute. What's wrong? Jingwen, just now, the landlady looked at you in the wrong way. Miaoyu, is there any little secret between you and the landlord brother? Yu Qing, quickly explain. Tian was stunned. Ah, what are you talking about? I have nothing to do with the landlord brother. Jingwen pushed her glasses, and reasoned, HMPH, if there is no little secret, why did the landlord brother look a little embarrassed? And you just took the initiative, you also greeted, washed, served rice, and served vegetables. Tian blushed and shook her head again and again. Really not, you have to believe me. Long Tien quickly finished brushing his teeth and came out to eat. The four girls didn't say anything, but the atmosphere started to look a little weird. Finally Tien simply turned on the TV and started watching it. Tiandu TV station, now broadcasting the noon news at 12 o'clock noon for you. The following is the detailed content. The operation to clear up the octopus has been a complete success so far. A total of 6,500 tons of octopus have been killed, and the flood of octopus has been successfully curbed. We interviewed famous monster research experts for the reason for the flood of octopus. Professor Yang Yongxin. Experts say that the reason for the flood of octopus is that a large amount of domestic water rich in phosphorus has recently entered the surrounding water system lakes, which has caused some creatures that octopus like to eat to grow wildly, and finally caused this as a normal scientific phenomenon. As soon as Long Tien saw the words like, expert assertion, citizens don't worry, etc., he immediately had a bad feeling. Brick home. Isn't this the kind of brick house with a crow's mouth? But by this time the TV had switched to another piece of news. Recently, a freshman and senior student at Tiandu University broke the news that Zhang Henshui, his dormitory classmate, has now been promoted to Genin, becoming the second known Genin level player in the game. This morning, the mayor of Tiandu City visited Tiandu University, and cordial condolences to classmate Zhang Henshui. In the TV camera, the head of the Tiandu City smiled and followed a tall, rich and handsome boy, shaking hands and chatting cordially. That boy kept posing coolly in front of the camera, which made Long Tien very upset. The four girls screamed one by one. Tiandu University, it's our school. Quote, we have a brother who has advanced to Genin. That's amazing. Second Genin, brother is really amazing. Long Tien curled his lips aside. Genin now, very powerful. Then if I tell you that I am the god of Long Tien, wouldn't you all faint with excitement? But no matter what, Long Tien still remembered this student named Zhang Henshui, and an idea came to his mind. This guy is so pretending, I'm going to find a chance to smoke him a bunch of bricks in the future. After the four girls cleaned up the bowls and chopsticks Wang Dehao, they hurriedly entered the game to fight hard. Long Tien was also full at this time, so he posted a post on the game's official website. Tomorrow, Inhuman Police Department will be officially established. All heroes are welcome to join. After 2 hours of consultation with Konoha Hokage 3rd Generation, the official structure of the Inhuman Police Department was finally determined, which is divided into 3 key departments: the General Affairs Department, the Intelligence Investigation Department, and the Mercenary Department. The only thing that involves players is the Mercenary Department. It is modeled on the mercenary system in Western fantasy novels. The mercenary team is a small unit, graded S, A, B, C, D, and E. The mercenary squad can be formed by itself, and then in the mercenary department registration. Above, my lord, after the post was released, all the major forces of the Federation suddenly, and countless people had a sleepless night. Someone couldn't sit still. To use strong. The post released by Long Tien soon caused great chaos all over the world. Chinese family, Zhao, Qian, Sun, Li, Zhou, Wu, Zheng, Wang, Liu, Yang, the 10 major families. The strength of the major consortiums, groups, and military forces of the Federation. They have mobilized manpower and entered the game. For a while, the leaves were undercurrents, the clouds were strange, and there were many conspiracies and tricks in the dark. Zhang family. The patriarch Zhang Huojun didn't have any expression on his face, but the anger in his eyes couldn't be concealed, like a crater about to erupt. This Long Tien god didn't adopt the organizational framework I designed, A cup was thrown out by him and broke into countless pieces. Big Foodie Zhang Dabao complained. Grandpa, why did you intervene in my plan? Originally, I could do a good job. How can you tell me to explain to the boss? Zhang Huojun was very dissatisfied with his grandson now, so he snorted. You, boss, do you have to be someone else's younger brother? And you still want to be a younger brother to a poor family, don't you feel ashamed of your family's face? Grandpa, I'm asking about the plan. I asked someone to intervene. The plan was revised by me. What's wrong? No way. Grandpa, you let me down so much. How did you talk to your grandpa? Have you forgotten who raised you? You don't understand. What I hate most about people like Tuda is that others conspire against him. You get out. Zhang Huojun was so angry that his beard flew up. Zhang Dabao also slammed the door angrily. No wonder why the boss didn't adopt his plan at that time, but thought of a new plan by himself. Thinking of this, Zhang Dabao couldn't help feeling a little discouraged. The boss must have lost trust in him, and he didn't know how to face the boss. Go to the game first, and explain it to the boss no matter what. I, Zhang Dabao, am not an old politician like my grandfather. Zhang Dabao got into the game cabin and entered Hokage. Long Tien re-entered the game. Boss, as soon as I went out, I saw the big foodie waiting outside the door. At the same time, Long Tien felt all kinds of prying eyes from all directions, more than yesterday. Long Tien sneered. These snoopers probably wouldn't even know it if they were killed. Their names have entered Konoha Anbu's attention list at this time. These idiots will never pay attention to the authenticity of this game, and only think that everything will follow the player's routine. Long Tien glanced at the foodie. Come in. As soon as the big foodie came in, he quickly explained to Long Tien. Boss, I want to confess to you that I intervened in the plan I gave you last time, but I can swear that I didn't know that it was him who secretly found someone arranged. Long Tien nodded and shook his head again. When you said you would do it, I was afraid of this problem. Now, I want to wrong you for a while, and the benefit I can give you is that you open a mercenary tuan. I will raise you 2 levels, others are E level, and you are C level. This is much less than what I promised you at the beginning. You won't have any complaints, will you? The big foodie nodded happily. Thank you, boss. Don't worry, I am very satisfied and have no complaints. Then the muscle maniac and General God arrived. Long Tien smiled on his face, but the information obtained by Morino Ibiki's memory reading ninjutsu flashed in his heart. There is no problem with the muscular maniac. Although he does not know his real identity, he is not a member of the major federal forces, so he can use it with confidence. However, there is a problem with the identity of the General God. His true identity is the son of the second largest shareholder of the Santo Military Technology Group, and he belongs to one of the top 10 powers in the world. Although Long Tien will not alienate him because of this, he will naturally be less in the distribution of benefits. Long Tien has already determined that the muscular maniac is in charge of the operation of the entire mercenary department. As for the general, he can only start as a mercenary. The 3 of them naturally didn't know what Long Tien was thinking. 10 minutes later, another group of people arrived. 5 people came together. Gao Hongtu, Xingyao, Fengyun, Passepartout, and Nai Chai were the ones who came to join Long Tien last time. Xingyao looked excited. Boss, we are here. Gao Hongtu. I heard that the Inhuman Police Department will be established today. Ha ha ha, I can't wait. Fengyun laughed. Let the boss tell you. Passepartout and Nai Sao are also gearing up for a big fight. The arrival of these 5 people immediately made the General God, the big foodie, and the muscle maniac vigilant, and thought to himself, it turns out that the competitors are not only the 3 of us. Long Tien looked around for a week. Their real information flashed in his mind. The 5 players were not players from major forces, but small forces, or scattered groups, so Long Tien can use it with confidence. Now that everyone is here, let's have a meeting now. Everyone was quiet and didn't speak. Now Long Tien is the leader, and only he can contact with the high-level Konoha, so he has the power of life and death. Now, the police department has 3 key departments, of which the General Affairs Department and the Intelligence Investigation Department are all in charge of NPCs. This is arranged by 3rd Hokage. I will not interfere, and it is impossible for you to get in touch. And what I really master, there is only the mercenary department, but I usually don't know how to manage things, so I need someone to help manage it, so I'll recruit from among you guys. Speaking of this, Long Tien looked around. Everyone's spirits were shocked immediately, they straightened up suddenly, and looked at Long Tien with burning eyes. In charge of the mercenary department, this is the department that manages players, great power. Maybe he will be under one of the players and above 10,000. Thinking of this, their hearts were like a tumbling heat wave, boiling hot and boiling. His eyes revealed strong anticipation. Long Tien looked at them one by one, and finally landed on the muscular maniac. The muscle maniac was overjoyed. Muscle madman, from now on you will be the head of the department, in charge of all affairs of the department. Long Tien announced. Yes, me. The muscular maniac was unbelievably pleasantly surprised, and then stood up abruptly. Boss, I will definitely do my best to manage this department well. I will go through fire and water, and I will do whatever it takes. The others became dejected one by one. At this time, the god's eyes dimmed. At this time, Long Tien smiled and said, General God, you can be the assistant of the muscle maniac, I have wronged you. The spirit of the general was shocked, and he was overjoyed to find it again, and almost shouted, Yes, boss. Long Tien looked at the others. The mercenary organizations below are divided into 6 levels, S, A, B, C, D, and E. You can organize your own mercenary teams. At the end I will give you authority, jump directly to 2 levels, jump from E level to D level, start faster than others, in private, as long as you do well, I will give you more resources. Everyone was overjoyed and shouted in unison, Yes, boss. Just when Long Tien was about to discuss specific details with them, there was a knock on the door. Who? Long Tien went out to have a look. A Westerner with gold-rimmed glasses and a suit and leather shoes stood in front of Long Tien, and behind him, there were 3 tall and strong figures who looked like bodyguards. Mr. Long Tien, my name is James, and today I am here to discuss something with you on behalf of the Snowden Consortium, the Citigroup Consortium, and the Morgan Consortium. This man named James, with a smile on his face, seemed to have a very strong affinity. Long Tien narrowed his eyes. Snowden Consortium, Citigroup Consortium, Morgan Consortium. These 3 financial groups can be said to be well known in the Earth Federation. This is an organization with an extremely powerful background and terrifying energy. It is the controller of America. Long Tien flashed the game information of these 3 consortiums. In the list of personnel given by King Invincible, several high-level player organizations in Konoha have affiliated relations with these 3 consortiums, and gangsters, half of them are related to the 3 consortiums. By the way, Uruka said that among the forces in contact with him, there are 3 financial groups. Obviously, these 3 consortiums are focusing on the layout of Konoha. Now, seeing that Long Tien is going to set up an official department to manage players today, the 3 consortiums finally couldn't bear it. It's like a shark that smells blood and can't wait to pounce on it. The brows on Long Tien's face stretched out. I am short of someone to make an example of, but I didn't expect it to come to my door. James looked at the slightly changed expression on Long Tien's face, and chuckled. Mr. Long Tien must have thought of my reason for coming. First of all, congratulations to Mr. Long Tianxian, who was able to set up a police force of aliens a big step ahead of all players. As far as I know, you can now get in touch. Just tell me what you're here for. Long Tien interrupted him directly. Mr. Long is really refreshing. James smiled even more. Then let me just say that our 3 consortiums are full of interest in this world, and this place is like an undeveloped virgin land. Don't you think it should be used by our players? Occupy and become the Federation's second world. Do you want to be trampled by those NPCs all the time? We want to create a more brilliant and beautiful world for the Federation people. His tone was so impassioned, as if he was fighting for the commonwealth of mankind. Okay. Long Tien quickly interrupted the Human Contribution Award winner. Let's get to the point quickly. James's smile remained unchanged. Haha, it seems that these imaginary things can't impress Mr. Long, so let's talk about something practical. There is a saying that being an official for thousands of miles only seeks money. Mr. Long, you just need to join our 3 major consortiums no matter what the conditions are, we will satisfy all of them. Long Tien, all the conditions? James nodded. Yes, all conditions. Long Tien had a half smile. You can become the middleman of the three consortiums, you must not be an ordinary person, how about you give me the seat? Can you be my subordinate? James froze for a moment, but soon showed a friendly smile. Haha, as long as Mr. Long likes it, he will be satisfied. Long Tien smiled. What if I don't cooperate? What will you do? James narrowed his eyes and said with a smile, Mr. Long, it's not good for you to be so greedy, but I can also tell you the truth. Konoha is the key investment location of our three consortiums, and most of our strength is here. There are more than 1 million players in Konoha. Do you think that you, a person without any background, can compare with us? Then he patted Long Tien on the shoulder. Young man, don't be too greedy. You can't make money. When you reach my age, you will know that cooperation can win-win. Go back and think about it. I give you an hour to think about 2 ways, wealth and power, or be wiped out by us, you choose yourself. After speaking, James was about to turn around and leave. Wait a minute. Long Tien stopped. What? Think it over. James turned his head, his face full of complacency. I've made up my mind. You've been pretending to be a jerk for so long, I'll give you a nice gift. Long Tien grinned. Sealed. Fire-style fire dragon technique. Huh. A huge fire dragon spewed out from Long Tien's mouth and hit James directly. How dare you? James was shocked, and disappeared, leaving behind a corpse. Bold. The 3 bodyguards behind James were frightened and angry, and wanted to rush up to subdue Long Tien, but they probably forgot that this is a game, not reality. In the game, Long Tien is number 1. Roar. The fire dragon was scorching hot. Before approaching, the 3 bodyguards felt a hot tingling pain in their bodies, and their hair was burned to a scorched smell. Ah! The 3 bodyguards were directly hit by the fire dragon, and they died without even having room to struggle. Outside the room, the prying eyes suddenly increased again. Facing these gazes, Long Tien made a gesture. Thumbs up. Down. Provocative. Long Tien's provocative action is undoubtedly to voice his own voice to all the big forces. I just challenge you, come if you have the ability. This action was naturally recorded by those snooping players, and then they went offline and told their bosses. Long Tien returned to his room. At this time, the 8 younger brothers were in the stupefaction of Long Tien killing the representatives of the 3 major consortiums one by one. Who are the 3 consortiums? That is the super trust giant that controls the entire America. And now, Long Tien, a player, dares to offend it, and even kill its representative, so provocative. Zhongshan couldn't help but reminded. Boss, those were the representatives of the 3 major consortiums just now, what if they retaliate? Long Tien glanced at Zhongshan, his eyes were so deep that it was hard to feel chills. Are you afraid? The general was shocked, and quickly raised his head. Of course I'm not afraid, the 3 major consortiums can't interfere with me, I'm afraid of him. Long Tien glanced at everyone present, his voice seemed so cold for the first time. Now you are, ask yourself, do you want to be a coward for the rest of your life, or a warrior, even if it's only for a few days or a few months? If you compromise, you may be able to get a little charity from them. But are you willing? Use your courage, use your life, to exchange for one chance, just one chance, one to overthrow them, and sit on that one by yourself, position opportunity. All the people present were shocked when they heard this. Remember, from today onwards, you are the leaders of Konoha who control countless resources, not the people who bow to the big forces in reality. Do you want to do a big business in the game, or are you controlled by these big forces? Become their answering object like reality. This voice rushed into everyone's mind deafeningly. Some people suddenly woke up. Yes, in the game, we have such a big advantage, why should we be a respondent? We are controlled by them just like in reality. Please keep in mind that these powerful people may dominate us in reality, but we are the ones in the game. And in the future, we can dominate them again in reality. Yes, we are the masters. They are the ones who compromise with us. Some people were shocked, and the blood that had gradually become numb in reality couldn't help but boil and surge all over the body. At this moment, Long Tien's hysterically shouting figure seemed so majestic. Passepartout stood up abruptly. Boss, I'll go offline immediately and hide myself. One word awakens the dreamer. If you really want to embark on this path, then your real identity must be well protected. All the people whose blood was aroused stood up one after another. I want to return to reality, I have to transfer immediately. I also want. In the end, there are big foodies and generals left. The big foodie laughed. Looks like I'm going down too. I'm afraid it's not safe in the family, boss, goodbye. Then go offline. Long Tien looked at the general god. Zhongshan gave a wry smile. I didn't expect to come to this point. Can I quit? I want to confess that I am the son of the second shareholder of STO Military Technology Group. There are some things that I can't choose. Quote. This is his choice. Long Tien was a little surprised. He didn't expect Zhongshan to confess. Long Tien waved. You go, I hope we don't meet each other on the battlefield in the future, otherwise I won't keep my hand, you know my character. General God nodded. Don't worry, the center of our Santo Military Technology Group is not on Konoha's side, but on Kurigaku's side. Long Tien. That's good. Long Tien thought to himself. The first step was considered a success, at least this group of people still had the courage to dare to challenge the big forces. Without this courage, Long Tien would not even have the interest in supporting them. Only those who have a fierce tiger in their hearts are qualified to go on in this battle. After they left, Long Tien left, and then went to the Hokage building. This time, it looks like a big fish can be caught. Reality. America. After James was killed, he was ejected from the game and was punished by not being able to log into the game for 2 days. At the same time, he also heard the reminder that the item with the highest skill level will drop to level 3. Mr. James, may I ask? The female secretary came in. Come here. James's face was ferocious, and his tone was terribly gloomy. The secretary was taken aback by that look, and walked over tremblingly. James pulled the female secretary to the floor, ignored the secretary's cries of pain, pressed her firmly on the floor, lifted up the short skirt, and slipped his hand in. Not long after, James pressed on the female secretary, and amidst the painful cries of the female secretary, he let out waves of animal roars, and fiercely vented the fury in his heart. After venting, the anger of being provoked and killed in James's heart finally decreased a little. The female secretary wept and helped him clean up, and then exited the room. James picked up the phone and called the controllers of the 3 consortiums, and told what happened to him. I think God Long Tien wants to be the sole ruler of Konoha himself, so he won't cooperate with us. Maybe we should teach him a lesson. Yes, use our current strength, 10,000 players, test his importance in Konoha. I have a big plan, this is just the first step. We want to use players kill those NPCs, they cannot be resurrected, this will cause huge turmoil to Konoha, and finally force Konoha to bow his head. Soon, James's plan was approved by the 3 consortiums. And God Long Tien is just a thread for them to test Konoha. Although James couldn't play the game, he quickly sent the plan into the game through the senior players of the other 3 consortiums, preparing to bring a big subversion to Konoha. The game should still be decided by its players. Game, Hokage House. Master Hokage, they will definitely test it out tomorrow. Maybe they will use large-scale actions to put pressure on Konoha. Long Tien said. The 3rd generation was not worried at all, but smiled and said, this is also a good opportunity for us to wipe out the so-called 3 consortiums, deter other alien forces, and make an example of others, isn't it? Hearing what 3rd generation said, Long Tien finally felt relieved. With the number of ninja troops after Konoha's current expansion and the suppression at the level of power, there is absolutely no pressure to suppress millions of players. That night, Konoha's interrogation department, police department, and Anbu were brightly lit and extremely busy. ******. The next day, the sun rises to usher in a new day. Today is the day when Konoha Inhuman Police Department was established. The entire Konoha players know this news and have been paying attention to it. Yesterday, the 3 consortiums sought God Long Tien to put pressure on them, and the news that they wanted to share the cake had already spread throughout the Konoha player community, and it was widely spread on the internet, and players in other villages also heard about it. For most ordinary players, Long Tien couldn't help saying, cheers. The Federation has been under the control of major forces for a long time, the stratum has solidified, and it is difficult for a poor family to produce a noble son. The common people of the lower class have actually accumulated hundreds of years of resentment in their hearts. Now there are actually people blatantly provoking the upper class in the game, which gives them a glimmer of hope. Challenge authority, rebellion, this is the psychological state of the repressed civilians. Therefore, most players are looking forward to the performance of God Long Tien today. Is it Long Tien who hangs and beats the big forces? Or is the big power overpowering the poor again? They will wait and see. On the edge of Resurrection Square, there is a towering building. Today, this building will be officially named Inhuman Police Building. Early in the morning, millions of players came to the entire Resurrection Square, covering a large area in darkness, with no end in sight. 10,000 people is already a lot, let alone 1 million. But fortunately, the Resurrection Square has been expanded by the system to be extremely huge, and it is not a problem at all to accommodate it. At this time, the Resurrection Square was bustling with people, and the sound was loud. Many players and NPC vendors saw the business opportunities and started selling various things. What kind of stuffed buns, candied haws, pancakes, sandwiches, hamburgers? These are Earth style at first glance. There are also sushi, ramen, sashimi, these are Hokage style. In addition to these eating and drinking, there are also some strange things mixed in. E.g., backgammon point reading machine. No matter where you don't know how to point, Mother no longer has to worry about my ninjutsu not improving. Have you practiced ninjutsu too much? Your body seems to have been hollowed out. Weiren Shenbao, the entrance is effective. After Miaoyu entered the game today, she followed several of her friends and players to the Resurrection Square immediately. Her friends are female classmates at school, so they usually live and train together in the game. The only pity is that Tien, Jingwen, and Yu Qinghu live together in reality are not in Konoha, so they cannot live together in Konoha. Today, the god tier of Long Tien will finally show his true colors. I don't know if he's handsome or not. Long Tien's god tier usually sees the head and sees the end, and has always been in the core area. We don't have enough reputation there, and we can't get in. Otherwise, I would have posted it backwards. Ah, you nympho. What's wrong with my nympho? HMPH, who made Long Tien god tier so good? What if he's a bad old man? Are you crazy too? HMPH, that's impossible. Many people on the official website said they had seen him before, and they all said he was handsome. Those may be fake replies. I think God tier is an extremely powerful warrior, who dares to challenge those who are in power, and his boyfriend's power is maxed out. That's right, if he can be my boyfriend, he will definitely feel very secure. A group of Yingyanyan little girls chatting about the thoughts of the little girls while walking around the square. In this world where the strong are respected, God Long Tien has too many legends, many magical auras, and is full of mystery. Everything has attracted many little girls. As for Miaoyu, although she didn't show any admiration for God Long Tien when chatting with other girls, she still had a princess-like sense of expectation in her heart, just like the words that came out of nowhere. I look forward to it. My ideal person is a world-class hero, and one day he will step on colorful clouds to pick me up. Obviously, the Long Tien god fits every girl's fantasy. Long Tien naturally didn't know that he was admired by countless female fans at this time, because he rarely appeared among public players. It was almost noon when the police building finally started to move. 2 huge balloons were lifted up to a height of 50 meters, attracting everyone's attention. Bang bang bang, 100 strings of fireworks go up and explode in the air. Miaoyu followed a group of sisters and squeezed to the front early, so she could see the unrivaled heroes in their hearts. The door of the building burst open. A few people walked out well inside. The man in the lead, wearing a ninja costume and a ninja forehead protector on his head, is tall, with a stern and majestic face, and a pair of sharp and deep eyes. There are 7 people behind, following this man step by step, with respectful expressions. Is this the god Long Tien? My god, this situation is simply so cool. Most of the people in the front of the square were girls. At this moment, Chi-Chi fell into a nympho. Long Tien god. I don't know which girl yelled, and suddenly there was a wave of shouts in front of the entire square. Long Tien god. Long Tien god. Long Tien god. Long Tien god. For a moment, cheers shook the sky, as if they wanted to blow the huge balloon down. Chapter 71. Long Tien God. Seeing the loud cheers in the square below, and the enthusiasm of the countless girls full of youthfulness, Long Tien was stunned for a moment. I didn't expect that I would be welcomed by so many girls. Long Tien smiled slightly, showing a sunny smile. Wave. Hi everyone, my name is God Long Tien. If you like me, please continue to like me. Those who hate me, please continue to hate me. Long Tien, for the first time in public, issued his own declaration. All the players on the square were stunned when they heard this. At this time, the girls in front of them were all crazy. If you like me, please continue to like me. Those who hate me will continue to hate me. So handsome, so cool. Long Tien God. Long Tien God. Long Tien God. Long Tien God. Countless cheers and screams resounded through the sky once again. Miao Yu stared closely at the figure on the steps of the building, feeling a little lost in her heart. This figure was completely different from the landlord's elder brother. No matter the face, figure, or outline, they are all different. Originally, Miao Yu was very curious about the mystery of the landlord. A Long Tien God, had a certain similarity. She had always expected that her landlord brother would be the Long Tien God that countless girls like. Now after seeing the true appearance of God Long Tien, this expectation vanished in an instant. The two are too unlike each other. God Long Tien is more like hockey, looking at all directions, more like that kind of unrivaled hero. And the landlord brother is more friendly, just like a big brother next door. Just when Miao Yu was deep in thought, God Long Tien had already started to introduce the system of the mercenary department to all players, as well as the system of exchanging mercenary points for skill scroll and experience letter. This news caused countless players in the square to cheer even louder. That's great, there really are experience letters and skill scrolls. Sure enough, it's exactly the same as what was said in that post. Must join. I'll find relatives and friends immediately and form a mercenary group. Yes, immediately form a mercenary regiment and join the mercenary department. The players were very enthusiastic all of a sudden. Why can't they upgrade now? It's not because the upgrade path is too difficult. It needs to challenge NPCs and get B-level evaluations. The difficulty is very high, and only those masters can successfully obtain skill points. But experience letter is different. Many people have exchanged Konoha contribution points. After using them, they directly upgrade their skills, and the experience is directly input into the brain, as if it has become their own experience, which is extremely magical. There will not be a situation where the level is high and the actual operation is sloppy. Konoha's contribution is very difficult to obtain. It only appeared once in the last large-scale mission, Recapture the Sealed Book, and it never appeared again. Experience Handbook is so precious, so Skill Scroll is even more precious, and most people still don't even get body replacement technique, let alone Dragon Fushin's signature Great Fireball, Dragon Fire technique, these overwhelmingly powerful ninjutsu. But now, as a mercenary, you can get Experience Letter, Skill Scroll. Could this not make them ecstatic? Wouldn't that make them go crazy with joy? Just when the whole square was in a carnival, on the building 100 meters next to the police building, two high-level players from the Wangda consortium were watching this scene. One of the men had a blood-red ferocious spider tattooed on his neck. The game name was Scarlet Spider, and his face was extremely ugly at this moment. Killian, our plan is not going to work. This Long Tien God actually put the police department in the Resurrection Square, which is completely beyond our plan. Those people in the strategy department are stupid pigs. They didn't make a plan for this. I must stuff soap into their assholes when I go back. Killian also cursed, his face very gloomy. According to the original plan of the first step of the strategic department of the three major consortiums, they should use 10,000 people, with a backup of 100,000 people, to give the establishment of the police department a wave of power and test Konoha's reaction. But now, the police force is unexpectedly established in the Resurrection Square, which is not a good location. This location was directly ruled out by the strategic department at the beginning. The two looked at the millions of enthusiastic players on the plaza, and the temptation of experience notes and skill scrolls. If 100,000 people from the three major consortiums were put in, it would count as 200,000 people. It will also be torn to pieces by these square players at once. Scarlet Spider. Give up the first step plan. Killian nodded. I agree, Give up immediately. Scarlet Spider's face was sullen. These players should have been controlled by us. Experience handbook, skill scroll should also be ours, but now, they are all snatched by this Long Tien who doesn't know where they came from. If I know who he is in reality, I will definitely let him taste the taste of bullets. Killian suddenly laughed and said, "Don't be so discouraged, you also know that our next big plan is to let 200,000 players massacre NPCs in residential areas, and use 3 levels of experience loss. For the lives of 200,000 NPCs, this is enough to threaten Konoha's top management, and they will definitely compromise. At that time, we can regain this power from the hands of God Long Tien. Quote, let the players slaughter NPCs, and use bloody facts to frighten those NPCs. That's an idea James came up with, and it has been recognized by many experts. When the player dies, he only loses a part of his skill level, and the loss is not big. But NPC is different. Dead is really dead. The two sides are completely unequal. This is a game bug. James felt that this bug could be fully exploited to deter NPC forces, and then reach a plan to gradually erode Konoha. Scarlet Spider was a little worried at this time. If I had started with this plan of exchanging NPC life for this experience to threaten Konoha, I would definitely have full confidence, but now I don't have this confidence. The ninjutsu in this world is too much. It's too weird. We don't know if there will be some kind of weird ninjutsu that can know our plan in advance. If that's the case, we will really die. Killian laughed. I didn't expect the Scarlet Spider, which has always been known for its cruelty, to be so afraid. Scarlet Spider gave Killian a cold look. Your generals are useless. Anyway, before I figure out the ninjutsu in this world, I will definitely not participate in this conspiracy, so I'll go now. Ignore you lunatics. At this moment, the Scarlet Spider had a bad premonition, as if was controlled by a mastermind behind the scenes. This feeling has saved his life many times before. He decided to quit immediately. Scarlet Spider turned around and left quickly, feeling that the place was getting more and more dangerous. Killian looked at the Scarlet Spider's back, and his expression changed a few times. I never thought that this Scarlet Spider would not be fooled. This plan can only be carried out by me. After thinking about it, Killian turned on the telephone he bought from the NPC, prepared to make a call, and ordered the execution of the massacre plan. However, just when Scarlet Spider just came down the stairs, just when Killian was about to order 200,000 players to massacre NPCs in residential areas, a voice came from behind them. Hee, it's really exciting. I saw a ninja suddenly appearing on the window, without any warning, very abrupt, as if appearing out of thin air. This person has short white hair slanting upwards, wearing a black mask covering half of his face, and a slanted forehead protector covering one of his eyes. You are Kakashi. Killian looked at the person in front of him, and a profile of one of Konoha's important NPCs flashed in his mind. Kakashi, Chunin, the information is unknown, the specific strength is unknown, the new graduate teacher. You are very good. You actually want to threaten us with the lives of the villagers. Kakashi's voice seemed to come from hell. A murderous aura that seemed to be real made Killian feel as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Every inch of flesh and muscle, every inch of muscle and bone felt like a needle prick. Kakashi was the god of killing on the battlefield of the 3 wars in the ninja world. At this time, Killian saw the Scarlet Spider that had just left. Its whole body was as limp as if it had no bones, and was being squeezed in by a ninja with thick eyebrows and green leather clothes. Guy, this ninja is also on the curry of the information materials of the 3 major financial groups. Kakashi, why are you talking so much nonsense with him? Break his bones, knock off his jaw, keep him from dying, take him back to prison, and clean him up. Guy, who was originally passionate, now also face full of anger. Prison. Killian's expression changed drastically, and he took out a handful of kunai, aimed at his neck, and stabbed it violently. Ding! Kunai was sent flying out. Killian groaned. Kakashi sneered. Want to die? You aliens, go back to the prison and die slowly. I promise you will die enough. And at this moment, countless screams came from the headset next to Killian's ear. Oh my god, so many NPCs. Everyone run away, run away. Why are these NPCs so pervert? Quick suicide. Ah, I can't commit suicide, my body is under control. It's over, they're going to clean us up in prison. The sounds of panic, helplessness, and screams from the earphones made Killian feel as if he had fallen into an ice cave, and there was only one last thought in his mind: why do we provoke NPCs? And we still use massacres of NPCs as a provocation. Quote, comma, reality. America. 3 consortiums. At this time, the joint headquarters of the 3 consortiums, the entire building has become a mess. Our 200,000 players didn't even have a chance to resist. They were all sent to prison for their birthday. And they will be imprisoned for life. All turned into waste that can't get out of prison. The 2 shareholders, Scarlet Spider and Killian, have been trapped. Trash, what the hell? Why did the plan leak before it even started? Check, write it down for me to check. 200,000 people, all our previous investment, worth 10 billion, have all been abolished, all abolished. Everything is the stupid idea of that James, and he must take responsibility for it. Shareholders who are traveling around the world, at this moment, all started a video conference because of this incident, and the whole meeting naturally became a vegetable market. They have always been gentlemen, and now they are all tearing out their faces and constantly talking about scolding, arguing, and shirking responsibility. Not long after, news that shocked them even more appeared in the game again. It's bad, in our game, other project teams were also attacked by NPCs, and 80% of them were arrested, with a total of more than 100,000 people, and only a few escaped. The chairman of the 3 consortiums roared at the same time, aren't the other project teams completely separate? Why are they implicated? Check it out right now. The news quickly reached the hands of the major forces of the Federation through various spies and undercover agents. All forces were shocked at this moment. Shocked by the clean loss of the 3 consortiums. I was shocked by Konoha's fast response and thunder power. Amazed by Konoha's intelligence ability. For a time, all forces reassessed Konoha and the world of Hokage. They realized that the Hokage world is a real world, not a game. NPCs are cunning and very powerful, survival here is more severe. All forces have revised their original large-scale invasion plan into a more cautious plan. At this moment, many forces are awake. At this moment, many forces realized that godlong Tien had become the object they wanted to curry favor with. Extra, the 3 American consortiums wanted to massacre NPCs and coerce Konoha to make concessions, but Konoha took over, and more than 300,000 people were all sent to prison. After being whitewashed, they were imprisoned for life. All the 3 high-level consortiums were wanted at the same time and offered rewards 1,000 points. Extra, that night, in Muya City, countless newsboys began to shout news and sell newspapers in the streets and alleys of Muya City, which has a population of tens of millions. Since the people on Earth entered the Hokage world, many business models, living habits, and new gadgets from the Earth have been brought into the Hokage world, changing the life here. The news quickly spread throughout Muyi Cheng through these newsboys. With tens of millions of players, Tucheng was in an uproar. The news is unbelievable. Many people couldn't help being curious. They bought newspapers and read them. Many players went offline directly and went to the official website. At this time, the official website was naturally dominated by this news at the top of the front page. And the comments below have reached more than 80 million. Some were angry at the insanity of the 3 major consortiums, and Yuanren used this evil method to coerce Mu times. Some of the thunderous methods that shocked Konoha, even before the other party started to implement them, they have already charged and arrested the other party. There are also cruel revenges that shocked Konoha. 300,000 people were thrown into prisons, all of them were whitewashed, and they were imprisoned for a lifetime. In other words, 300,000 people will all become waste. When others are upgrading Genin, Chunin, and Jonin, they are so powerful that they can fight monsters with bare hands, but these people are powerless. This situation is really too miserable. There are also many people who think that the player's authority has been challenged, and they must gather strength to give Konoha and those NPCs a good look. Of course, this is just shouting. 300,000 people have been sent to prison to be whitewashed and imprisoned for life, which is enough to deter all players who are thirsty for power. Although many people in the comments provoke the relationship between NPCs and players, intending to create a perfect country where players are the masters, they were quickly submerged in countless comments, and there was no splash. When all the dust settled, careful people found that the players' attitude towards the game began to change and became more serious. The three major consortiums used their severe damage to tell all players not to treat NPCs as NPCs. More than 100 meters underground in Konoha, a new player prison was built here. There is no prison here, only an abyss that can never be ascended, dark and damp. The 300,000 players who had just been caught here were all pale and defeated. That stupid pig made a plan. Stand up for me. Imprisoned here for a lifetime, we will be wasted forever. We can't upgrade, we can't increase our strength. In reality, we will become the inferior people who are bullied. It's all your high-level leaders who killed us. Who is the high level? Give it out. Stand up for me. At this moment, the prison is full of resentment and hostility, like a supervolcano that has accumulated energy of 10,000 years and is about to erupt today. When it explodes, the power will destroy the world. Suddenly, a voice came out. It's him, he is the commander this time. Immediately, all angry eyes, like a lethal ray, all looked at the sound, following the direction of one of the player's fingers, and a person was shaking his head in panic. It's not me, it's not me. You still dare to quibble. You are the famous conspirator Killian. What? He is Killian the conspirator. I've seen him, and he's really Killian. It's this guy who killed us. Let him die. Yes, beat him to death. At this moment, the volcano found a vent and finally erupted. The entire prison suddenly fell into extreme madness. Ah, I'm wrong. The culprit is, the Scarlet Spider. Don't hit, everyone go find him. The screams were drowned out by the roars. Soon Killian was killed. Who is Scarlet Spider? Who is Scarlet Spider? The Scarlet Spider's expression changed, and it immediately backed away. However, his actions turned out to be a different kind, and a player suddenly pointed at him. I know him, he's Scarlet Spider in time. Hey, it's really him. The Scarlet Spider's face changed greatly, but it was impossible to escape, and was soon surrounded. Soon, Scarlet Spider was beaten by countless people and disappeared. The prison ninjas 20 meters above watched coldly one by one. Police building. At this time, the 1/10 floors of the police building were planned as a mercenary reception hall. After more than 10 hours of registration, there were still countless players queuing up. After each player got the mercenary number and mercenary certificate, they were filled with smiles, as if they saw a bright future. In another place less than 100 meters away, Hokage, Iruka, Long Tien, looked at this new place from a distance. Master Hokage, this killing of chickens and monkeys has caused a lot of shock to the aliens, but the effect is very good. Long Tien said with a smile. The third generation's expression was not very good, and he said to Long Tien, you aliens are really scary, you have no spiritual beliefs, and you are chaotic. I hope you can guide them well and let them agree with the spirit of our Konoha. Quote. Long Tien was silent for a while, and suddenly quoted a line from a movie, Master Hokage, please give us a different time. We occasionally stumble and lose our way. It does not mean that we will be lost forever. Sometimes, we just need someone to help us. Bundle. Third generation was a little lost for a while, and finally nodded, well, I hope you don't let me down. Reality. Long Tien sat in front of the computer. This is a real world, where do the players go, to all people on Earth? Keyboard . Under the flying fingers of Long Tien, a post that has been brewing for a long time finally took shape today. Today, Hokage looked forward to him, but also concealed this point of uncertainty. The uncertainty of the alien made him feel the crisis. So Long Tien thought about it, and wrote this post to alert Konoha's players. When I entered Hokage, I felt their joys, sorrows and joys from the NPCs, and their parents had short stories. At that moment, I felt that what I entered was not a game, but a new real world. At that moment, my heart was full of unbelievable, and endless joy. That Setsuna, I came up with an idea, how should I contact the people in this world? Should I use the players' arrogance, take what they ask for, and act recklessly? Or use a humble attitude to integrate into their life? Quote. As you can see now, what I choose is to integrate into their lives, become a part of them, and experience their life, their spirit, and their history from the daily life of the elderly, children, and adults. Through contact, I learned about their history, from a war-torn chaotic era, being the great first Hokage, with his mouth. Long Tien snorted, and then quickly changed mouth cannon to heart affinity. Integrated together, finally formed a village, and then slowly multiplied. Because of this village, there is peace, and it is no longer ravaged by war and displaced. Quote. At the gate of Konoha, there is a sentence that most players probably won't notice. That sentence is, as long as there are leaves dancing, fire will burn. The society of fire will shine on the village, and, let new leaves germinate, when you want to protect yourself and be a cherished person. The true power of a ninja will be revealed. This sentence, according to the NPC's description, is what first Hokage said when Konoha was established. This is the ideal of the first generation, and now, it is also the most precious wealth of Konoha since it lasted, representing Konoha's the spirit. The previous generation protects the next generation, represents the Konoha spirit that is passed on from generation to generation. I have come into contact with a lot of ninjas. From their mouths, I know some of their own stories. Companions, friendship, fetters, passion, and guardianship accompany them throughout their lives. This is their spirit. And the earth, after fighting against monsters, has gradually lost this spirit in the past 100 years. The class has solidified, and the lower class is like stagnant water, lifeless. The upper class sings and sings every night, high above. Just yesterday, some players and some forces were able to frantically raise their butcher knives and massacre those aborigines, and the purpose was only for their own shady interests. I was thinking, if such people one day become if you are strong, will you raise your butcher knife in reality and attack your own compatriots? If you were really so cruel and cold-blooded, it would be too terrifying. Are you willing to live under such a reign of terror? I hope that all the mercenaries under my command can truly integrate into this world, feel its friendship, its hope, its spirit. I hope that this spirit can be carried over to reality, changing the Federation, no longer numb, no longer cold-blooded. And the financial groups, forces, and capitalists who subvert this spirit will all die. I don't hope that in the future, the game will become the same as the reality, without friendship, without warmth, and only profit trading. When the last sentence was finished, Long Tien smiled. This post was sent by Long Tien with his feelings and sincerity. Hokage is his beautiful youth, is his emotional memories. He hopes that this kind of youth and feelings can continue and not be destroyed by those who only have interests. Click publish. This post quickly became the hottest post in the post. And Long Tien didn't think about it. After many years, when the status quo of the earth has been changed, Long Tien's, to all earth people, has become a declaration that has been passed down for thousands of 10,000 years and will be engraved in the annals of history. Read the holy word. And the spirit spread in it leads the people on earth to unite all, overcome everything, and conquer the stars and the sea. God Long Tien, the earth myth, became an idol worshipped by all, and lasted until 10,000 years. The end of the book. Ahem, I made a mistake. Long Tien ate in the villa to fill his stomach, and then entered the game. This time, Long Tien no longer sees the head and tail, but appears in the police building. Today he is going to carry out the first major event since the establishment of the police force sweeping. This is from the Celestial Dynasty 500 years ago. Every action will scare countless people. The action of chicken, flying, egg. Long Tien also moved to the Hokage world with a very bad taste. Then Long Tien already thought of several lines that fit the occasion. Hee, it's the author again. You boy, you were present for lousies. Ha, the author has been arrested again. I was wrong. The author is assured, we all understand. I understand your sister. Failed people look for reasons, successful people look for direction, but you, the author, look for a lady. Author, you are suspected of prostitution without a license, please come with us. Thinking that these sentences popular on the internet in the 21st century are about to become internet celebrities in the world, Long Joe couldn't help but burst out laughing. What, do you want to? When Long Tien said these words, the muscular maniac expressed his confusion. Long Tien is righteous. Every day I see that there are players who are girls, but men are lingering, not knowing how precious. Cough, not knowing how to study hard, my heart aches. The muscular maniac looked dumbfounded. My heart aches when you are like this. Hokage House. Third generation held a few documents and said to the ninjas below. According to the past practice, every ninja village that has signed a peace treaty with Konoha selects elite genin. Several villages hold a joint Chunin exam together, and this year it's Konoha's turn to hold it. These few documents, you must guarantee send it to each ninja village and the daimyo of the daimyo prefecture. Although the Chunin exam is 2 months away, we have to prepare in advance and discuss a charter with each ninja village and province. Yes, Lord Hokage. Several ninjas responded in unison. In this exam, there are only 6 villages in Konoha, including Sand Ninja, Taki Ninja, Rain Shinobi, Kusanagi, and Yin Ninja. It will be the most important event in Konoha in recent years, and Fire Daimyo Kuni and other high-level officials from Ninja Village came to visit, so this time he paid special attention to it. And it's time to show the terrifying power of a real ninja in front of those aliens. This is deterrence. At night, Konoha is brightly lit and neon at night, making it a bustling scene. However, in some areas, there are many bathing centers and casinos. At this time, Long Tien is leading a group of subordinates, as well as tens of thousands of mercenaries preparing to strike here. Tens of thousands of aliens, mighty and mighty, naturally attracted the attention of many aliens and NPC villagers. Soon, Long Tien led his troops to the largest one, called the Heaven and Earth Bathing City, and stopped in front of it. It's vulgar. It's filthy. I must criticize it. Long Tien's righteous speech. Muscle Maniac, Gao Hongtu and others covered their faces. And those mercenary players, all of them were extremely excited, roaring, going shopping with Lord Long Tien. Ah no, criticizing vulgar behavior is really exciting and exciting. Long Tien waved his hand. Search for me. Tens of thousands of players were gearing up and followed Long Tien into the bathing center. What are you doing? What are you doing? The staff and players inside, as soon as they saw the menacing look of this pedestrian, knew that they were coming to smash the scene, and immediately stopped them. It is estimated that he has not recognized Long Tien, so the language is still quite arrogant. The game does not have a camera function, so you can't take pictures. Many players don't know what Long Tien looks like. Who are you? Do you know whose territory this is? Dare to break into it? How bold. The staff reckoned that the kind of player who has been brainwashed by the boss's awesomeness is very confident in the boss's strength, so he speaks incomparably, his eyes are higher than the top, and his nostrils almost reach the sky. Staring at Long Tien and the others, his face was full of disdain. How dare you pretend in front of me? Long Tien kicked him to the ground, and then stepped on him. Go, brothers, go up and check. A group of mercenaries looked admiringly at God Tier's handsome kick, that charming stomping, and naturally imitated the example, one by one walking past the staff member's body. Soon came to the second floor, Long Tien came to the first room. Bai Yan looked through the sunglasses and the door, and saw directly that there were 2 naked players inside, playing adult games. What's this game? 5-flowered 1. Water arrows. Swinging dragon. Rotating. What did I just say? 5-flowered 1. Underwater arrows, swinging dragon, rotating. I don't understand anything. I really don't understand. Long Tien kicked the door fiercely, directly frightening the 2 players inside. The police rounds the room, squat down for me and run away. Long Tien's shout of justice, like a stick from the soul, directly frightened the 2 players. One of the male aliens thought that this was reality, and was frightened by the police to check the house, so he rushed out of the door and window and jumped off the building. Crack, sound of bones breaking. Screaming miserably. Long Tien felt pain when he heard it. But the female player soon realized something was wrong. This is a game, the police are farts. She immediately became angry, pointing at Long Tien and yelling, "This is a game, where are the policemen, get out of your way." Quote. At this time, without Long Tien doing anything, a few mercenaries have already walked over, kicked the arrogant female player to the ground, and tied her up. Wait, mercenary, why is your method of kidnapping people so weird? Afterwards, Long Tien, Muscle Maniac and the others, each led a group of people to take charge of a floor, and searched them one by one. The whole bathing center was like a frying pan, and it was a mess. But at this time, the owner of the bathing center and the security forces finally reacted, gathered more than 2,000 people, and blocked Long Wei and others at the door. Who gave you the courage? The owner of the bathing center was furious, pointing at Long Tien and others and cursing. My place was smashed so blatantly, this can earn tens of millions of gaming dollars in one night, how dare someone come to mess up the place? The boss also turned his nostrils to the sky. Keep your eyes open and see what this place is. This is the place of the Li family. Let me tell you, you have made a big deal, and you have made a big deal. Long Tien laughed. Do you know who we are? Li Haojiao. Hengmei, the owner of the bathing center, sneered, and gave Long Tien a disdainful look. Whoever you are, our Li family has 200,000 people in Konoha. If you dare to provoke the Li family, you are all dead, and none of you can escape. Ha ha ha, the mercenaries laughed collectively. Is the Li family very cute? 200,000 people is a lot. Do you know how many thousands of mercenaries are registered in the mercenary department? 5 million. Long Tien didn't talk nonsense. Brothers, catch them all. Yes, more than 10,000 mercenaries suddenly agreed and rushed towards the security players of the Li family. 10,000 people versus 2,000 people. A huge group battle started. Long Tien didn't even need to use his hands, and the number of people was crushed directly. It took less than 10 minutes, and the more than 2,000 people were arrested directly. The boss struggled and cursed. Dare to arrest us? You wait to die. You. Long Tien kicked the arrogant boss's face. More than 2,000 criminals, were brought back to the police department. The underground of the police department has been expanded into a prison. Although there is no ability to resurrect the prison after death, it is possible to detain players. Not long after Long Tien raided the bathing center, all forces received the news. All the forces were in an uproar. The Zhao family. What is this god Long Tien doing? Is he crazy? The Wang family. How dare he even know it's the Li family's place, and dare to raid it? Does he not know what will happen if he offends our top forces? The Qian family. Is this guy not satisfied with sweeping away the three major financial groups? Does he really want to offend all of us? The Sun family. But, we really don't seem to have any way to deal with him. The Li family. It seems that his influence is greater than ours. Zhou's family. Although I don't want to admit it, seems to be like this. The Wu family. We seem to have nothing to do with him. What should we do? Are we going to let him challenge our authority like this? The Zheng family. Sloppy. We dignified figures at the top of the Federation are unable to resist being bullied by him. When have we been so aggrieved? All the big forces were a little stunned at this moment. It was the first time that they were directly provoked by someone like this. If it was the past, they would have directly used the strongest force to directly crush them, crushing those who dared to challenge their authority into countless powders. But this time, the opponent is stronger than them. What should I do? It seems that there is no way to deal with him. All major forces are considering this issue. And just when these people were depressed, all the big forces suddenly received a notice from God Long Tien. Within 3 days from now, all bathing places, massage places, casinos, etc. operated by players must go through formal procedures at the police department and obtain a business license before they can officially open, and 80% of taxes and fees will be collected. If you don't come to handle it within the time limit, or don't pay taxes on time, you will be banned. After hearing this announcement, all the forces and their grass mud horses were stunned. Surprised. Furious. Need a business license. 80% tax. Ban it if you don't do it. Too arrogant. That's 80% of the money. We worked so hard to manage it, but in the end we have to pay him 80%. He didn't do anything, and he got it for nothing. Too overbearing, too shameless, too shameless. He is simply going to die. Who are we? How dare he offend? How ignorant. Who does he think he is? He's just, hastily, it seems that I really have nothing to do with him. It seems that instead, he can hang us 1080 degrees repeatedly. How can this man do this? How can we bully us vulnerable groups like this? So bad. It's so bad that my heart is bleeding. So bad that the Son of God has no asshole. We were already very bad before, but we didn't expect that compared with him, we are still kind and good students. Cry. Bitter. God, why are there such bad people in this world? All the big forces, everyone has experienced the above emotional ups and downs in their minds, from the initial anger, to the sudden recognition of the reality, CDCJ, then to cursing, and then to bitterness. They discovered that they, the people in power who originally controlled the fate of everyone in the society, became a vulnerable group when they came to the game, and then they were bullied by a poor family they looked down upon. This taste is very uncomfortable. But so what if I feel bad? Could it be that I, a vulnerable group, can still wrestle with that big villain? I can only bear it. It's so frustrating. After experiencing countless grievances and struggles, each force obediently came to the door to apply for a business license. What's even more abominable is yet to come. This certificate can't be done on behalf of you. The boss can only do it himself, otherwise it won't be done. The big bosses of these big forces, none of them are busy with every day, either meeting the federal leaders or on the way to meet the federal leaders, millions of dollars every minute. The small goal is to make 100 million first, and the pretend is all used. In fact, it's the same if you have money or not. In the end, with such a powerful boss, why did you actually let him go to a small office window to apply for a certificate? Well, let's deal with it, we will endure it. After all, you are the big one, you have the final say. But, do your staff dare to be more qualified, overbearing, procrastinating, and rude? You dare to attack our big boss? Don't you know that our big boss controls the lives and deaths of thousands of people? Well, we all put up with it. But, do you dare to go through a formality without issuing various certificates? For example, to prove that your mother is your mother. For example, this name is yours and not someone else's. For example, to prove that your son is your son and not the son of the old Wong next door. All kinds of messy proofs. Can you be less routine? More sincere? Woo. Our big bosses are all vulnerable groups, okay. Woo woo woo, alright, you are big, you have the final say, alright. With incomparable grief and indignation, after going through a few days of ups and downs, the big bosses of the big forces lost a few caddies one by one because of this small business license. When the business license is officially issued and handed over to these big bosses, the eyes of the big boss were filled with tears. Why? That's because they love this land so much. Bah, deep ass, because the bosses can't wait to leave this ghostly place of the big license holder immediately. They don't want to come back. Humiliated and bullied to the point of crying, the big bosses of the various forces began to unite because of the same illness, and discussed to resist the cruel tyranny of the great demon King Long Tien. The Zhao family, the Qian family, the Sun family, the Li family, the Zhou family, the Wu family, the Zheng family, the Wang family, the Lu family, the Zhang family, the major groups. At this moment, they all joined together to form the Revenge Alliance. We must change this situation. The Zhang family advocated that Huayan's eyes were bloodshot, and he was about to be tossed by the certificate processing hall these days. Yes, 80% profit, this will kill us. The patriarch of the Li family also had a look of suffocation, gnashing his teeth when he spoke, as if he wanted to crush that Long Tien god. Being humiliated by him like this, we people have almost become the laughingstock of Konoha players and all the players in Hokage. This revenge must be avenged. The humiliation we suffered in the certificate hall must be recovered. We're going to overthrow him. The patriarchs of the families, the spokespersons of the group, and the shareholders all roared in unison. The head of the Li family, since everyone is together, let's think about it carefully. Is there any way for us to get out of this predicament? Zhang Huojun calmed down and analyzed. The reason why this god Long Tien is so arrogant is not because he has the inhuman police department. Is it because he has all kinds of resources to promote ninjas? So we want to overthrow his words, must surpass him in strength, and at the same time befriend NPC forces. Suddenly, the chairman of X-Gene suddenly exclaimed, by the way, we have actually ignored that in a political system, if there are decent people, there will be villains. It is impossible to have only decent people. Why don't we find the villain NPC and build a relationship with the villain? So we can use the power of the villain NPC. One word awakens the dreamer. The other big bosses patted their heads one after another, suddenly realizing. Yes, there are also villain NPCs. Why didn't we think of that in the first place? Regret is growing in their hearts. If I got online with the villain NPC earlier, would I still be afraid of that Long Tien god? This loss is too unfair. At this time, the major shareholder of Santo Military Technology said, actually, Santo Military Technology Group, we have thought of this problem a long time ago, but the villain of Konoha is hidden too deeply, we haven't found it yet. The head of the Lu family concluded. So, now, we must first improve our own strength, and second, we must quickly find Konoha's villain forces. All of us are here, working together to find a way to accomplish these two things. Analysis of the head of the Zhou family. Let me tell you about the first issue of Enhancing Strength. We focus on training ninja masters, let them constantly challenge NPCs, and continuously improve their skill levels. In addition, entering the mercenary collectively brush experience letters and ninjutsu skill scrolls, and then concentrate all these things for the use of the masters, so as to cultivate the next level as soon as possible. Master come. Hey, that idea, good. Good. This idea is good. I agree, focus on training. Just follow Patriarch Zhou's instructions. The other forces praised the idea one by one, and adopted it one after another. Patriarch Zhou smiled modestly, and then continued to analyze. The second is to find the hidden villain forces. We also need to focus on our advantages of having a large number of personnel, and go to NPCs to learn about Konoha's history, Konoha's current political system, and important NPCs. Past experience. As long as there is a trace of clues, we can follow the clues and find the villain NPC. At this time, we must put aside our previous suspicions and work together to overthrow that hateful Long Tien god. At this moment, all the bosses are filled with a passion for revenge. Who knows who came from where, took out several bottles of wine, and everyone shared the wine and toasted. To our future cause of domination, cheers. Reign Konoha, cheers. Cheers. Raise your glass. They seem to have seen a bright future to overthrow the tyranny of the great demon king Long Tien, and success is waiting for them not far away. *TT. Just as they were celebrating happily, good things came in pairs, and another piece of good news came. 2 months later, Konoha Village, Sand Ninja, Taki Ninja, Rain Shinobi, Kusanagi, and Yinin, 6 villages, will jointly conduct the Chunin exam. All genin in Konoha, including the players, will complete a certain after the Konoha mission. You can take the Chunin exam. If you pass it, you can be promoted to Chunin unconditionally and get a lot of rewards from the village. As soon as the bosses heard the news, the audience burst into laughter. God help me too. There is such a thing as the Chunin exam, haha, we must cultivate genin more, and when the time comes for the Chunin exam, we will use the advantage of numbers to kill that dragon Wushan. Asterisk 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 asterisk. As long as we produce a large number of Chunin, why do we need to be bullied by that Long Tien? In the future, crushing him will be like crushing an ant. These bosses are excited, already fantasizing about the bright future. What they don't know is that in the Chunin exam in the near future, there will be countless perverts, the fame of the 12 Shaoqiang, the invasion of Orochimaru, the summoning of the first generation and the second generation, and finally Bunta Toad and Shuhei from one tail. Pervert appeared, and a single big move could destroy countless players. They would never have imagined that Hokage has deeper water than they imagined. Moreover, they are destined to be disappointed in this exam, because the exam is interrupted. In the end, only ninjas who perform extremely well and are favored by all countries will be truly promoted to Chunin. The chance of the player becoming a Chunin is almost zero, unless the light overshadows the NPC. They are doomed to be happy in vain. As for the villain NPCs, Danzo and Orochimaru, one is Makiha's hardcore conspiracy party and the other is an experimental madman. If you really meet these 2 NPCs, the Vengeance Alliance will probably kneel. Mr. Iruka, did you just say that after 2 months, the village will hold the Chunin exam? Let me take it. After tossing those Federation experts hard, Long Tien was in a better mood, and when he returned to the house to wash and sleep, teacher Iruka came to the door. Moreover, Iruka also brought a piece of news, Chunin exam. Long Tien and Long Tien's grass mud horses are a bit square. Chunin exam. Seeing Iruka's excited look, he probably thought this was a great opportunity for Konoha to show his strength. But the real situation is that Orochimaru is about to move, and Sand Shinobi is also dissatisfied with Konoha's crescendo, so during the Chunin exam, Otonin and Sand Shinobi jointly gave Konoha a ruthless blow. The exam was interrupted, the 3rd generation died in battle, and Sleepy Leaf suffered heavy losses. Seeing Long Tien stunned, Iruka thought Long Tien was worried about the task, and comforted him. You don't have to worry about the task, you aliens only need to complete a C-level task, and you don't need to talk to our village ninjas also need 1 B-level and several C-level tasks. Long Tien smiled, and did not correct Iruka's comfort. Long Tien changed the subject. Mr. Uruka, the sea-level task should be quite difficult for us aliens now, right? Uruka laughed. Don't worry about this. For your personal contribution to Konoha, Hokage-sama has preferential treatment, allowing you to join Kakashi, Hong, Asuma, Guy, one of the 4 classes, to participate in their tasks. As long as you complete a sea-level task, you will meet the basic standards of the Chunin exam. Long Tien was overjoyed. Join these few really? Uruka nodded. 3rd generation personally confessed to you, and it can be regarded as a respect for you. If you take the Chunin exam, although the chance of being promoted to Chunin is not high, you can fight against genin from each ninja village and accumulate more practical experience. Strive to advance to Chunin in the next Chunin exam. When Long Tien heard it, he immediately felt warm in his heart. I didn't expect 3rd generation to care so much about him. Long Tien felt that for this Chunin exam, he must find a way to warn 3rd Hokage and not let him die like the original plot. However, this matter is too important, and it needs to be disclosed in a technical way, and it cannot be said directly, which will arouse Konoha's suspicion of herself. Don't worry, Teacher Uruka, I will definitely not let you go to the hospital. Uruka nodded. Then you choose now, Kakashi, Hong, Asuma, Guy, 4 classes, which class do you choose? Long Tien didn't even think about it. I choose Naruto, after all, I am familiar with him. Uruka. The Kakashi class is still doing D-level tasks in Konoha, and it is estimated that they will be released soon to do C-level tasks. You are just right with the past. Long Tien nodded, thinking in his heart, according to the Chunin exam time push forward, the trip to the land of waves should start. Long Tien didn't pay much attention to fighting and the like, but the training along the way, such as climbing trees, treading water, and Kakashi's teaching, was very beneficial to Long Tien's skill level improvement. When I read fanfiction before, many authors could write the mission of the Land of Waves, and Long Tien was also very familiar with the plot, so he was actually a little numb to Zubuchi and Bai. However, now there are countless players in the world of Hokage. What will happen when there are 2-way task players in this task? Will it become more exciting? This time, I'm finally going to meet players other than Konoha. Will there be players under Zabuza? Or players under Cardo? Or players from the Kingdom of Waves? Or all 3? What will happen between them? Long Tien was faintly looking forward to it. After Uruka left, Naruto, who planted seedlings for a day, finally came back. Brother Long Tien, I'm so tired today. Weeding or catching cats every day, planting rice seedlings or cleaning, these little things are so troublesome. The D-level mission is too simple, too cumbersome. I want to take the C-level mission. Naruto, dressed in mud, sat on Long Tien's fur sofa with big thorns. The real leather is worth hundreds of thousands. Looking at this precious sofa covered with mud, Long Tien's face turned green. Woo, you, give, I, start, open. At this time, Naruto realized that he seemed to have soiled Long Tien's sofa, and coughed twice in embarrassment. Ahaha, brother Long Tien, I'm so tired, I'm going back. Naruto, the title. Long Tien didn't say anything. Grabbing Naruto was a pain. In the middle of the night, there were bursts of screams, scaring countless villagers into incontinence in the middle of the night. The next day, Long Tien temporarily joined the Kakashi class, starting the official life of the 7th class. The task of this day is to pick manure. Big stink. Sasuke is still cool and cold, as if everyone owes him money. Little Sakura still has her eyes glued to Sasuke's body, unable to pull them out. Naruto still loves little Sakura heartlessly, but every time she is beaten up by little Sakura, and then continues to laugh heartlessly. And Kakashi, who is always on the sidelines, quietly watched the never-ending book, Massacre in Paradise. Long Tien looked at this picture with a smile. After many years, such a picture may become an extremely precious memory. Perhaps, I should buy a camera. Long Tien thought so. In such a harmonious picture, suddenly a group of players came in horizontally. Look, isn't that God Long Tien? What is he doing? Is he picking shit? Haha, I laughed so hard, pick shit. Mixing with NPCs, tisk tisk. I heard that the Chunin exam is coming soon, and everyone else is working hard, but he is picking shit, haha. Perhaps he thought he had to pass. HMPH, we already have 10 genin in the Vengeance Alliance, this time he will lose. Long Tien snorted and sneered, "Genin can take the Chunin exam." Naive. Without saying anything, a bucket of dung was poured over. Dried up this bucket of heat. The announcement of the Chunin exam made all Konoha players excited. This is a big exam jointly held by the 5 major ninja villages. It is extremely grand, and those players who want to become famous are naturally impatient. And those players who have already advanced to Genin are gearing up one by one, preparing to work hard to improve their strength, and then shine in the Chunin exam. Players who are less than Genin are also working hard to practice and seize the time to advance to Genin as soon as possible. The entire Konoha has obviously become more energetic, and there are training figures everywhere. Why is God Long Tien recognized by countless players as the #1 player? And Konoha is optimistic about becoming the leader of the Inhuman Police Department. He beat and bullied those big forces in all directions to the point of crying and dared not resist. Isn't all of this because of the strength of God Long Tien? As long as you have enough strength and show it in front of NPCs, you will definitely be reused by NPCs in the future. Many players actually have a small expectation in their hearts, that is to replace God Long Tien's current position, become the #1 Konoha player, control countless powers, and dominate. It is also because of this that they are quite concerned about the whereabouts of God Long Tien. In recent days, they have always read newspaper reports that God Long Tien went to pick manure, transplant rice seedlings, take care of children, and weed. Hearing this, many players were actually stunned. Then began to study the mysteries. Could it be that picking dung and transplanting rice seedlings are good for cultivation? Or there are other deep meanings that I haven't realized? After much deliberation, they just couldn't figure it out, so many ninjas began to learn from Long Tien and do the same thing. As a result, a strange trend began to appear in Mu Yi Cheng, and many strangers even fell in love with picking manure, weeding, transplanting rice, helping NPCs with various tasks. The NPC was dumbfounded. Are these ding people stupid or what? The NPC is also treacherous enough, deliberately showing a very mysterious look, attracting strangers to help him work. As a result, Mu Yi Cheng began to have a better relationship with players and NPCs. After third generation heard the news, it was also stunned for a while, and then thought that it was specially guided by the god of Long Tien, so the favorability of Long Tien rose again. And Long Tien was actually kept in the dark, completely unaware that he was being followed. Long Tien didn't know about this until the 4th day, when a player newspaper reporter came to interview Long Tien. "I actually don't know anything, really, you have to trust me." Long Tien's innocent face was met with contempt from the reporter. "It's fine if you don't want to share the secret, why are you pretending to be innocent?" Long Tien expressed that he was wrong. Konoha, Photo Studio. "Boss, among your cameras, which one is more high definition, easy to carry, and can print photos on the spot?" Long Tien asked some NPCs, and after searching for a long time, he found the largest camera sales center in Konoha. The development of the Hokage world is actually a bit weird. There are computers, telephones, and movies, but it feels like living in ancient times. The long-haired boss of the art took a look at Long Tien. "Are you going to go out to perform tasks? Then is it for life or work?" Long Tien, "For daily use." The boss quickly recommended a camera that conformed to Long Tien's high definition, small size, printing and other functions, but the price was very expensive, 5 times that of ordinary cameras. However, Long Tien, who has robbed those big forces, is no longer short of money, so he waved his hand, proudly, and bought it. The moment the camera was in his hands, Long Tien couldn't help feeling sorry that he didn't take a picture of Mingzhou Chu kiss on the day of graduation. It was really a big waste. In the woods, I'm Sasuke, arrived at location C. I'm Long Tien, arriving at point A. I'm little Sakura, arrived at point B. Finally, after a long time, Naruto's voice never appeared. Where's Naruto? Long Tien, Naruto, we must teach him a lesson later. Little Sakura growled in a low voice. After a while, Naruto's voice appeared, but the tone seemed a little weak, as if he was on the verge of collapse after being raped for a night. I'm Naruto, arriving at point D. Too slow, Naruto, came Kakashi's lazy voice. Okay, class 7. The target is moving. Catch up. The 4 of Long Tien chased after them. See, Sasuke said. How far away is the target? 5 meters, I'm ready and ready to act. I'm ready too. If you don't know the objective of the mission, outsiders will think it's a tail-grabbing beast, but it's actually just a cat. Kakashi. Do it. Naruto pounced on it, grabbing a cat. Meow, the cat screamed, struggling continuously, waving its sharp claws, scratching Naruto's face. Ah, Naruto screamed continuously. Kakashi. The mission target has a ribbon on his right ear, are you sure? Sasuke is serious. Confirmation is the mission goal, that's right. Kakashi. Very well, the mission to find the lost pet tiger is over. Long Tien was holding the camera at this time, and snapped a photo of Naruto who was ravaged by the cat. After completing the task, the 5 of them went back. Naruto kept complaining. Mr. Kakashi, don't we have more intense and exciting tasks to do? Every day is such a boring task, it's crazy again and again. Udai's factory. Kakashi. Those tasks require certain qualifications to take over, don't worry. Naruto was weak, but these small tasks are really boring. The 5 returned to Hokage's office and handed in the quest. Mao Xiaohu returned to its owner, the bloated Mrs. Daming, who was being trampled by the owner and screaming. Looking at the corners of his mouth twitching, Long Tien mourned for the cat for a few minutes. Ha ha ha, you have suffered a lot, you dead cat. Naruto, who was scratched badly by the cat, was naturally gloating at this time. The old man of 3rd generation began to assign a new task with a pipe in his mouth. Next, the next task for Class 7 is to help Mr. Liang take care of the children, or 3rd generation. Or another task to go to the next village to buy things, and the task is to help harvest sweet potatoes. Don't. At this time Naruto couldn't bear it anymore, and made a strong protest, don't ask us for this kind of mission. I want to take on more powerful missions. Long Tien and Sasuke nodded in agreement at the same time. It's better not to do things like picking shit, taking care of children, etc., it's really annoying, okay. Moreover, all those players are already grabbing these missions now, and they are still willing to do so, so let's not compete with them for missions. 3rd generation thought for a while, and now the low-level tasks in the village are indeed reduced a lot because of the help of other people. Okay, I'll give you a C-level task, protect a person. 3rd generation finally agreed. Everyone was overjoyed. Really give us a high-level task, ha ha ha, who is it? Your lord, or your highness the princess. Arrogant. 3rd generation. Don't worry, I will introduce you now. Creak. The door opened. A drunken old man walked in with a wine bottle, glasses and a straw hat. When Long Tien saw it, he burst out laughing in his heart. Ha ha, the kingdom of waves, here I come. What, they're all brats, gudong. The uncle glanced at Long Tien and the others, and said with disgust. Then the old man gave Naruto a sideways look and said, that stupid, shortest guy over there, are you really a ninja? Ah ha ha, who is the stupidest shortest guy? Naruto, a big idiot, began to laugh and looked at everyone. Everyone leaned over speechlessly, and then stood shoulder to shoulder with Naruto. Suddenly, Naruto understood. I'm going to kill you. Ah, Naruto rushed up angrily, but was held back by Kakashi. Old man, don't underestimate the ninja, I am very powerful. I am an elite ninja who will get the title of Hokage sooner or later, Uzumaki Naruto. Remember it. Dasna glanced at him and said, Hokage is the #1 super ninja in the village, I don't think a kid like you can be one. I'm going to kill you. Naruto continued to be mad. But no matter how bad-tempered this CDAF is, and how dissatisfied Naruto is with him, Naruto will not give up this task. After negotiating, 3rd generation finally handed over the task to Class 7. This is the first C-level task of the 7th class. After accepting the task, everyone went home to prepare their equipment. Naturally, they would bring all kinds of equipment with them when they went out this time. If there were too many, they would seal them with a sealing scroll and take them out when needed. Ninjas are good at different things, so they need to communicate with each other. For example, detonating charms need someone with special skills to make them. Long Tien is rich and powerful at this time, so he bought a lot. The seal scroll is something that all ninjas need, it is convenient to carry some supplies, and all ninjas can spend money to buy the scrolls made by the seal team. Leaving the Hokage building, little Sakura suddenly asked, Mr. Kakashi, Master Hokage just said that there will be no ninja duels in sea-level missions, right? Kakashi nodded and smiled. Don't worry, there will be no ninja duels in sea-level missions. When Long Tien heard this, he smiled, and naturally he would not speak out to remind him. After preparing everything, Long Tien, the 7th squad, and Dazina gathered at the gate of the village. After Kakashi went through the formalities of leaving the village, a group of 5 people officially left the village and headed for the country of waves. This situation was quickly seen by the newspaper paparazzi who had been following Long Tien, and the news spread to the ears of all Konoha players in less than a word. What? God, Long Tien has left the village. Could it be to go out to do a mission? Grass, could it be that those tasks of weeding, picking manure, and catching cats are the foreshadowing of the tasks of going out of the village? Have we all gone the wrong way? All the players who followed suit to do missions for NPCs were stunned. The country of waves. Cardo Corporation. President Cardo's office. Cardo sat on his big chair. Although he was short, his pair of small glasses made him vicious. On the surface, he is the president of the shipping company Cardo Company, and he is one of the few rich men in the world. In fact, he secretly uses the mafia and ninjas to smuggle drugs and contraband, and he is a villain who does all kinds of evil. Tuk tuk. At this time, a burly and vicious subordinate knocked on the door and walked in. Boss, I just got the news that the old man Daisy ran to Konoha and hired a group of ninjas to protect him on the way. Is that dead old man still alive? Daisy raised his brows immediately. That old man is too cunning, he escaped, said the subordinate. Didn't our subordinates accept a lot of aliens? They are not afraid of death, so let them intercept and kill them. As long as anyone kills Dazina, I will reward him with 1 million yuan. The boss is wise, let those aliens go to die, saving our own casualties. However, Konoha Shinobi is well known in the ninja world. Ninja S rank rebel ninja no Zan came to the land of waves, we can hire him to kill Dazina. That's a good idea, I agreed. Give him 10 million, and the head of Taitazina will come to see me. Yes, the drawing board. An hour later, all the players who joined the Kaduo faction received a notice from the boss. Kill Dazina, reward 1 million yuan. After hearing this news, the players who had been exploited madly were boiling. In another tavern, Momochi no longer cut, white, sitting on the tatami, eating lunch. At this time, the door was pushed open. 2 gang members came in and saluted respectfully. Excuse me, is it Mr. Momochi Zabuchi? Our boss Kaduo wants to ask you to help kill a person. We will pay you 5 million now, and we will pay you another 5 million after it is done. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.